Weaponizing Sharia: How an Indian High Court Betrayed a Muslim Woman. And the subtitle of this is going to be Why We Need the Uniform Civil Code. Why the Uniform Civil Code in India would protect Muslims. Whoa. Okay. So, and I'll explain what that means for people that don't know in a second. In an appalling violation of a Muslim woman's rights, the Allahabad High Court in India has ruled that her live in relationship with a Hindu man constitutes an act of zina and haram, meaning fornication and sin forbidden by Islam, despite the woman being effectively abandoned by her husband Mohsin 2 years ago when he took a second wife. In India, Muslims are governed by the Muslim Personal Law or Shariat Act of 1937 for matters related to personal affairs like marriage, divorce, inheritance, etc. This law codified existing Sharia laws derived from Islamic texts and made them applicable to Muslims in India. Rejecting the couple's plea for protection from threats against their lives by the woman's father and relatives, the court took the audacious step of imposing an extremely regressive judgment on the woman. Justice Renu Agarwal, no, no, Agarwal, Agarwal shockingly declared, quote, such a type of criminal act cannot be supported and protected by the court. Let me repeat that. This is a woman living with her Hindu boyfriend, being threatened by her father and family, and the judge says to her that her act, such a type of criminal act, cannot be supported and protected by the court, and stated that the woman could potentially face prosecution herself under Section 494 and 495 of the Indian Penal Code for the offenses of marrying again during her husband's lifetime, even though Mohsin had already married another woman himself. The judges arrogantly claimed that the woman is still, quote, a Muslim by religion and did not apply to convert, using this to deny her autonomy over her personal life after being mistreated and deserted by her birth family. This deplorable judgment brazenly weaponizes religious law as a tool of control against a woman who is a victim of abandonment both by her husband and her father. So, let me back up and explain what's happening here. Okay, so this is why we need actually secular law in India. This is why we need the Uniform Civil Code. Okay, so as I explained, we have something called the personal law in India. And this is very complicated. And I want to always give the uh, asterisks that I might not understand everything, that I might get some things wrong because it's very complicated and very unlike the legal system in my country that I'm used to. So, you know, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because this is just my understanding. I'm no lawyer. So, we have different kinds of personal laws in India, and these apply to different religious groups. So we have Hindu personal law, we have Muslim personal law, Parsi, Jewish, Christian, etc. Okay. Muslim personal law takes elements of Sharia law and codifies them into law in the supposedly secular state of India. So when you go to the civil court, the law of the land, you're not going to a Sharia court, let me remind you, you're going to the court of the state. And when they are involved in matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, you can have Sharia applied to you by the court of the state, of the supposedly secular state of India. So, this is what's happened here. So, let me provide the story of this woman. This woman is a Muslim. She married a guy. Okay. At some point, her husband abandons her. Her husband abandons her and goes to marry a second woman. Meanwhile, let's not forget that under Muslim personal law, it is only Muslims in India that are allowed to take multiple wives. Anyone else would be punished for the crime of bigamy. A Muslim woman taking a second partner in marriage would be considered the crime of bigamy. But Muslim men can legally take multiple wives, and they're the only group that can do so. That's my understanding. So he abandons her to go marry another woman. That happened 2 years ago. Okay. She returns home to her family's home. When she returns to the home of her family of origin, I don't know the details, but it sounds like it was abusive. So she has a live in partner. She has a boyfriend. She never divorces her previous husband for whatever reason, but he left her. He went to go marry another woman, and she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is Hindu. She goes to live with her boyfriend because her family is abusive. When she goes to go live with her Hindu boyfriend, living together outside of marriage, her family, her father, begin to threaten them. They go to the court and ask the court for protection against the threats that they are facing from her father and family. The court looks at her case and basically says, "You are Muslim. What you are doing is haram and against Sharia. You are the one committing crimes, and we are not going to protect you. We are not going to protect you because under Sharia, you are the one who is violating the law because you have essentially taken another husband, which is forbidden to you. You are the one committing zina, fornication." This is the secular court of India. In Uttar Pradesh, by the way.
Uttar Pradesh is enforcing Sharia law. Holy crap.
Yeah.
The most anti-Islamic state in India is enforcing Islamic law, enforcing Sharia.
And so this is a perfect example of why India would benefit from a uniform civil code. Let me explain what that means for people that don't know. There is a push within India from many parties, but most prominently the BJP, which is a Hindu nationalist party, to remove all personal laws from the books and to make a uniform civil code, basically meaning we don't have all these different privileges for different groups. We don't have different privileges for Hindus. We don't have different privileges for Muslim men, Muslim women. We don't have different privileges for Christians. We all have the same civil code. We are all equal under the law when it comes to marriage, divorce, inheritance, sometimes land rights, all these things. It's uniform. We do not have all these differences. And there's tons of bullshit people that are like, "Oh my God, you're destroying the diversity of India." Do you think this woman here is benefiting from the diversity of India?
This type of diversity should be destroyed. This type of if by diversity you mean diversity in law, yes, we want that type of diversity destroyed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Not all forms of
Yeah.
diversity are good.
Yeah. Diversity in disparity of treatment under the law. Oh my God, it sounds so positive. How
Yeah.
progressive. How progressive that we are forcing a woman to have Sharia enacted upon her in a supposedly secular state. This is a perfect example of how maintaining these personal laws are. Think about this. This law is forcing her to be more religious than maybe she wants to be. This law is forcing her to be more Islamic and more observant than maybe she wants to be. That is a massive denial of her own liberty, her own freedom of conscience, her own autonomy. Because they are enforcing Sharia upon this woman because by an accident of birth, she was born into a Muslim community. And they essentially said to her, "Oh, well, this doesn't count because you haven't applied to convert to another religion. So basically, you have to legally go convert. In certain states, you have to go file
Which is
paperwork, all
also
this
which
bullshit."
is Yeah, yeah. Record
Your
your
apostasy.
leaving from a religion that will want your beheading for doing so. Imagine asking that, like, oh, you want to leave Islam? Well, you have to make this publicly official. Like, yeah, that's not very safe. You can see why somebody might not want to do that.
It's freaking
Oh, what that?
ridiculous. They're like, "Oh, yeah,
Oh my
we
god.
you never
Also,
you did not apply for conversion, so you're considered a Muslim still, and so this is how you're going to be treated under the law. You have to
also,
apply to be convert to another religion to face, like, the possibility of being treated by a different kind of personal law where maybe you would have some more freaking rights. How crazy is that?"
also, also, not that they're correct, which they're not, but not all Muslims agree that this is Sharia, that this is Islam. Maybe she wants to stay Muslim and she doesn't think like zina. I mean, she would be wrong, but it's her choice to remain a Muslim and think that this is okay. There's ton of Muslims that think like, oh yeah, no, people have misinterpreted Islam and this is not according to Islam. I mean, again, they are not correct that this is Islam, but they have the right to think that I get to have a Hindu boyfriend and remain a Muslim. And according to what I think about Islam, this is okay. What? Who are you to tell her, like, no, if she wants to have a Hindu boyfriend, she has to officially leave Islam? Like, what the hell? No, maybe she wants to stay Muslim. Maybe she has, or maybe she's already an ex-Muslim and she doesn't feel safe to come and announce it to the goddamn world. We don't know. But how is this your business? And again, Susie, I know you disagree with this, but how is this not apartheid? How is this not apartheid? If this woman was Hindu, she would have no problem with doing any of this. But because she's Muslim, she's being treated differently and she's having a hard time given that she is a different kind of citizen. If this is not two-tier citizenship, and if it is two-tier citizenship, how is that not apartheid?
I mean, I understand your argument, I'm just hesitant to call it that because that's such, like, a loaded term.
It is a loaded term, but it applies here. It
Mhm.
comes with the load. It is a loaded term, but the load is visible here. There's two-tier citizenship here. And also, I want to make another point. This is what it means to be anti-Islam and pro-Muslim, because Islam is bad for Muslims. Okay, so we are anti-Sharia. Okay, but look at the victims of Sharia. The victims of Sharia are Muslim women, right? So when we say like, oh yeah, we're anti-Islam, but we're pro-Muslim, it's because of situations like this. Because when you apply Sharia, the main people that are hurt by it are Muslims themselves.
Yeah. So people, honestly, like, people can whine and moan all they want about the BJP being the main ones to push for the UCC, and I used to be one of those people, and I'm just so over it. Like, this is about something bigger than yourself and your own feelings, right? It's a very self-centered, like, way of approaching the problem. Instead of being like, "Actually, how about we take a step toward removing religion from the books? How about we take a step toward removing Sharia from our laws? How about we take a step towards equality under the law?" And when you put it in those terms, like, the people giving pushback against it just sounds so disingenuous.
By the way, 300 people are watching on YouTube and 300 people are watching from Twitter, right? So, all the 300 people who are watching on YouTube, make sure you like the stream right now because you don't get this type of analysis anywhere else, okay? And anywhere. So, make sure you like the stream so more people watch this. You know, this is, I think, me and Susanna are doing a very good job. And you can spend half a second liking the stream so more people end up coming to the stream.
Mhm.
By the way, we got a lot of super chats with a lot of good comments
Yeah,
attached to them.
let's dig through these. Um, a couple people commented on the story first. John is saying her husband takes a second wife, she leaves, and she is the criminal. What? Yeah.
Mm.
I'm Lychee saying the court doesn't make the laws, though, isn't the blame on the lawmakers. These laws on the books are pre-independence. These are relics of the British Raj. So you could also make a very interesting argument that a UCC is very decolonial. Ooh, leftists love that. Let's start talking about that. How anti-colonial.
But yeah, but this shows how leftists are more pro-Islamic than anti-colonial sometimes. Because even if it's anti-colonial, if the Muslims don't like it, they're like, "Oh, you're oppressing Muslims." So keep the British. We hate the British, but keep the British laws because the Muslims want it too. This, like, I don't know, their priorities doesn't make any sense.
It don't make no sense. Um, okay. A gave a super chat saying just my culture needs to be on an Atheist Republic t-shirt. That's actually a good reminder, guys, that we have merch. Link in the description. Make sure to check out our store. We have lots of great shirts. Selva Kumar just gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you,
Thank you.
Selva. It's very generous of you. And I saw in this the live chat that he said that he gifted the memberships in recognition of Uttar Pradesh enforcing Sharia, which for those who are not like familiar with India is it's kind of like a pigs can fly situation.
Right.
Um, uh, Carl gave a super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker, Carl. And Asian American celebrating his membership, saying, "In the People's Republic of China, the only law is the people's dictatorship."
Mm.
Oh, the magnanimity, you know. Um,
Yeah, equally bad.
CDA gave a 14 Canadian dollar super chat. Thank you, saying I'm a student at Canadian University and fellow atheist. Your streams woke me up to showing who's right. I posted that Hamas are terrorists without Hamas. I posted that Hamas are terrorists without even supporting Israel. Several of my friends stopped talking to me. Damn.
Wow. Wow. By the way,
Wow.
how dare you? Hamas is not terrorist. Hamas is terrorist. Okay.
I know I got
Stop the
confused
anti.
for a second.
But no, it's yeah. But wow, that's telling. That's telling. That is telling.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
just
think
have to
your
be
life is
anti-terrorism. Perfect.
probably better without terrorist sympathizers in your life.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, good point. Good job taking the garbage out.
because if that's how they feel about Hamas, that they stop talking to you over describing a organization that is prescribed under Canadian law as terrorists, then they probably have a lot of other ideas that are freaking sick.
But if you spelled Hamas the way you did in the live chat, I don't blame your friends. Okay. Like, this
If,
is
like
like this.
if they thought that he was
If
actually talking about hummus.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you were disrespecting this dish, I would, I would take your friend's side. But this is hummus, okay? So don't mistake hummus with hummus. But yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
exactly. Don't disrespect hummus like that.
Don't do
Um,
that. Yeah.
Gasian American, thank you for the super chat saying, I don't think it's apartheid because the Muslims theoretically consented to it. Heavy on theoretically, are there Shia Sharia courts in India? I believe that there are. I believe that there are Shia Sharia courts in India. To what extent Shia practices are codified into Muslim personal law, I don't know.
Mm. By the
Um,
way, I criticize Israel for this as well. Israel has Sharia courts, taxpayer funded Sharia courts for Muslims as well.
yeah.
So just so
Hell
clear.
to the no, 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 no. Eric can give
Don't
another
say that. We might actually get a copyright strike. Be careful. If it's
okay,
too close
shoot.
to no, yes, sure.
Come
Yeah.
on. Eric can give us another super chat. Thank you, Erican, saying won't send when you type that with Hamas, but don't send with hummus. Oh, but you just sent the
Did
super
both.
chat with Hamas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm confused.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, we got another
Oh, and
super
we
chat.
just got
Wow,
another.
guys.
Oh my god, Carl,
Wow.
stop. Thank you for the super chat, Carl. Saying, I read that Israeli police won't investigate murder cases between Arab families because they treat it as tribal blood feuds, kind of apartheidy. I don't know if this is true. If it is, that's a huge problem. This is
Well, for it to be apartheidy, it needs to be laws on the on this. Not everything that is racist or wrong is apartheidy. For it to be apartheidy, okay, that's a new word, it needs to be official laws. Because if the police is having a bias that will make it apartheid, technically most countries will be apartheid. Like, is the United like if I could find examples of racism by the police in the United States, will that make the United States apartheid? No. They have to actually have official laws that is discriminatory, because you could find bad cops or cops that are doing wrong, having bad behavior. We have racism everywhere. Showing racism doesn't make you an apartheid. Having official laws that has a double standard, that's what makes you an apartheid, and Israel doesn't have that. Right. But anyway, Eric gave us another
um
super chat.
well, and also this is a problem in Jordan as well. Like I have
Oh
situations
yeah.
where I've tried to help people escape Jordan because of what I can only describe as mind mind boggling levels of violence at home. Like the kind of violence where you like, I cannot believe that humans would do this to another family member. Like this sorry, that case still really gets me. And this person I was trying to help could not go to anyone, even if 'cause she was already facing an issue because she was atheist. And if people
Mhm.
knew that, then they wouldn't want to help her. Domestic violence shelters wouldn't want to help her. But then even for personal people that she knew, that even if they knew that she was atheist and wanted to help her, they would not do it because of the tribal violation. So dangerous. So dangerous. Um,
By the way, Lebanon is apartheid. If you want to look for apartheid, Lebanon is apartheid against Palestinians.
yeah, that's not even a difficult argument. Um,
Lebanese.
Erican sent a super chat, actually two, wait, saying the rule works like what would be shadow banned when you send it as a normal chat will get loudly rejected if you send us a super chat. Okay. Oh, and then also, or Hirschfield sent a super sticker. Wow, thank you
Thank
guys for
you.
all the support that we're getting.
Oh,
Um,
you got both of them for Erkin.
yeah, they were like essentially the same thing.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.